Howdy, this is Trevor. I'm going to walk you through the VR version of the Mars Rover driving sim. So I'll select the VR driving role and start the simulation. So when you load into the sim, you'll be seated within the rover. Uh, the controls are simpler than some of the other sims. The only thing that you need to use for movement is this stick on the left. You grab onto it using the grip button on the back of your controller, and whichever direction you move your hand will be the direction that you drive. So if I push forward and to the right, forward and to the right, left as well. And if I pull back, I'll start going in reverse. On the right, we have this button, which I'll explain in a moment, and this log output, which explains some of the things that are going on in the sim. Right now, you can see that it's reading that these various systems have initialized correctly. And in the front, we have the speedometer, which is useful for keeping track of your speed and making sure that you're not going too fast and losing control. So I'm driving over to this green waypoint, which is the goal of this activity. You need to visit all 5 of these waypoints in no particular order. And once you get to them, you need to stop the rover and press this button using the grip button on the back of your controller. And this will start the process of core sampling. So this will freeze the controls so they don't do anything, and also start accelerating time to represent time passing while you're collecting the sample. But as soon as you finish collecting the sample, it'll pop up saying core sampling complete, and then you can move on to the next waypoint. So I'm going to go ahead and visit all 5 of the waypoints now. Once again, the waypoints do not need to be visited in any particular order, but your goal is to sort of find a route between them that is the most efficient in terms of time. It may not necessarily be a straight line between each of them because there are some obstacles, like larger boulders and dips in the terrain that you may want to avoid. When you're going downhill, it's a good idea to keep your speed in check by pulling back periodically. If you go too fast, you may be at risk of flipping the rover. So, one important thing to note, if you flip your rover over, as I have done here, the mission will have failed. There's no way to flip yourself over, so you'll have to restart. So something to keep in mind when you are trying to go quickly, don't go so quickly that you end up flipping. When you're collecting a sample, you need to make sure that the rover has come to a stop and that you are close enough to the center of the waypoint. If either of these things are not true, it'll come up with a warning on the log output there. Okay, I'm coming up to the last of the 5 waypoints and getting ready to collect my final core sample. When this finishes analyzing, assuming you visited all 5 of the waypoints, you'll receive a final time. And feel free to take multiple shots at this and try and find a better route if you feel like you could have done it faster. And I finished it in 4 minutes and 48 seconds, though I don't think that's capturing on the recording. So once you finish the activity, you are still free to drive around. There are a couple of interesting things that you might want to look at around the base. I won't spoil them for you. But other than that, best of luck with this activity.